All right, so today I want to talk about this tweet from Jason Kenney, which I actually seen through Brett Wilson's Twitter feed. So I wanted to talk about it because it's something that when you talk to the lefty people out there, they don't really ever seem to like bringing this up. This kind of contradicts their views of things nowadays. So wanted to make a video about it because I was actually kind of surprised about this, but anyway, basically, in a nutshell, Alberta is spending more on healthcare than they ever have, and they plan on doing it basically year in, year out for the next 4 years. Um, the other thing I would point out here too is that when you adjust for inflation, my guess is that the numbers are actually pretty flat. I know inflation's usually about 2%. I mean, that's at least what the government wants it to be at. Real inflation in Canada is definitely probably about, I mean, I have no idea off the top of my head what the exact numbers are, but given when you look at food prices in Canada, yeah, inflation's going up by more than 2%. And the government numbers, maybe they can, mess with them a little bit to make them look, I mean, with all those government numbers, they always can. I mean, namely the employment ones and like the economic ones. So I'm not sure, but in a nutshell, let's just pretend that that's not a thing, because the left doesn't care about that anyway. But this is something that you continuously hear all these lefty people, all the teachers out there, um, all these people on the left. Their biggest issue is, oh, they're cutting healthcare. They're cutting healthcare. They're cutting public school stuff. But this completely contradicts that. Now, for me, from if I was Jason Kenney, I have no idea why they're doing this. He says that they're also working to make the system more efficient. I'm not sure how you can do that in a socialist system because efficiency and socialism are like oxymorons. Innovation and socialism also oxymorons. Saving money and socialism oxymorons. Again, I'm not sure exactly how they can do it, but because the only way you can save money and become more efficient and more innovative is if people are paid based off innovation, performance, and efficiency. And in a socialist system, they're not. They're paid based on, at least in the healthcare industry, they're paid based off how many patients they see, which means they have not only do they not have an incentive to keep people healthy and innovate, they have every incentive to get people to come back, which means keeping them unhealthy. So this is it's a completely backward system, which is one of the many reasons we can't have a socialist system. But this is one thing I just wanted to point out that the left always claims that the right is so partisan and all this crap. And like I say, I'm not a big conservative guy anyway, so please don't make the you're biased argument. Um, but they always like to make this just partisan argument, and that's why my theory is, and I think it's backed up by a lot of evidence. I could probably make a video about it someday, but the left always, I mean, you look at Rules for Radicals and Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton has praised the writer of that book, one of the most, top leftist politicians in the world, arguably. And they say one of the main things is accuse others of what you're guilty of. Just a couple quick examples. The Democrats in the states accused Trump of colluding with Russia, which is not true. But what happened? They colluded in their own primaries or not the primaries, but the DNC colluded to give the nomination to Hillary. They cheated Bernie. So what did they do? They accused Trump of cheating. Look at these examples. They accuse him. In other words, they just want to justify. They just want to justify their own hatred, in that they want to be able to say, "Oh, you guys are just as bad because they're so bad." They know in the back of their heads that they're so bad, they're so partisan that they just want to they justify it in their mind, saying, "Well, oh, the other side is just as bad." It's it's like when you get into an argument with someone and say something that you shouldn't have said, it's, oh, well, they shouldn't have started the argument. It's that kind of crap. And I wanted to point this out because, I mean, he says, well, why do unions object? Now, unions object because the conservative governments don't want to help out unions nearly as much as the NDP does. The NDP is basically, I mean, the overwhelming majority of the jobs that the NDP created were public sector jobs, which are much more likely to be union jobs. So that's the basic reason why unions object. And it makes no sense too, because they'll criticize him on one hand of cutting healthcare spending, but on the other hand, he doesn't cut healthcare spending, and they don't admit that rank contradiction. So that's basically the point I wanted to bring up, is that um, why the rank contradiction left? Like, please explain that to me. Like, that's the one thing whenever people talk about Trump, if you want to bring up a legitimate gripe about Trump, great, I have them. But these stupid, like, he's racist, he hates women, like, come on, that's such BS, such BS. Like, and to me, those are the kind of people that, like, I have zero respect for their critical thinking skills, because when someone has legitimate reasons to be criticized, namely Jason Kenney and the UCP, and the best you can come up is he's doing something they aren't even doing, like, you're an idiot. Like, man, you were truly stupid. Like, and I don't mean to be mean, but like, come on. I mean, like I say, getting back to it, the reason why they do this is because they want their partisan free stuff. They want unlimited free stuff on the left, and the right isn't willing to give unlimited free stuff. They're willing to give limited free stuff. Um, and that's what the left wants. So they'll say whatever they got to say to justify their BS opinions, and that's kind of what we have going on. So I like pointing these kind of things out, because in Alberta, whenever you hear anyone on the left talking about Jason Kenney and the UCP, the first thing they bring up is the healthcare cuts and the public school sector cuts. Now, personally, both of those things need to be cut. They're both bloated. They're both public school teachers make more money than they're worth, and I don't even think it's close. Um, and like I said, I've made videos about that kind of stuff. Um, and and for the simple reason that look at Alberta spending in this fiscal year $20.6 billion on healthcare, um, and we have about 27-28 billion dollars to work with. Now, if we didn't have equalization, we'd have about 50. But that's a completely different topic in and of itself. That's probably what 75-80% of our budget is going just towards healthcare, just towards healthcare. Um, and that's how expensive this free healthcare system is, and that's why we can't afford it. Like I say, it'd be nice to be able to give away free healthcare to everyone, but we just can't afford it. So, um, like I said, I've made videos about that too. But anyway, I'm bouncing around a little bit here. I'm gonna leave the video there. But like I say, I wanted to make a video about this because this is something to bring up, that when you talk to these lefties out there, this is something you can bring up. And like I say, that's part of the reason why I make these videos. But anyway, if you like the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. I do have my PayPal linked in the description. I do have an email address for e-transfer, but at the very least, just hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and share videos. That's at the very least, I'd very much appreciate that. But anyway, stay tuned for more.